Good evening. Today is Tuesday, June 21st, 2022, and we're going to be discussing the most recent updates on the spread of monkeypox, the outbreak continuing to accelerate. Let's start with the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom reporting an additional 219 cases since our last update, bringing the total number of cases in the country to 793. Of those, 766 are in England, 18 are in Scotland, 3 in Northern Ireland, and 6 in Wales. The outbreak in the United Kingdom, 80% of them, or 80% rather, of the England cases are in London. This is a region by region breakdown. This is actually new here from the United Kingdom Health Security Agency, showing almost 500 cases in London, 142 cases there. I guess geographic region is under investigation, and then you can see sporadic cases throughout other parts of the country. I'm not sure if this is a comprehensive list of all the regions in England, but nonetheless a significant number of parts of the country where the virus has spread. British government getting quite concerned now, saying that it will be offering the vaccine to any man that is at risk, recommending that gay and bisexual men at higher risk of exposure be offered the vaccine even if they've not been identified as a close contact, or if they are known to be related to a known outbreak. So that's a significant development there from the British government and how they're going to be managing this outbreak as it moves forward. Almost 1,000 cases in the country, 793 at the moment. Spain reporting an additional 150 cases since the last update, bringing the total number in that country to 757. It's spread to many different parts of the country. Here we can see that in Andalusia there are more than 50 cases now of the virus, most of them in Malaga. In Asturias, we have the 6th positive case of the virus, according to the Ministry of Health there. In the Canary Islands, they registered 4 new cases of the virus, bringing the total there to 32. Castile and Leon registered their first case, and that was in Salamanca, the city of Salamanca. Madrid reported 29 new cases, at least in the past 24 hours, bringing their total number to 539. Madrid, again, being the epicenter of the outbreak in Spain. The Valencian community reporting 5 new cases of the virus, bringing their total to 12. And nonetheless, I know that that's not a comprehensive nationwide tally, but 150 new cases over the past couple of days in Spain, bringing the total number to 757 there, and the spread happening in many different parts of the country at once. Germany reporting an additional 131 cases since we last did an update, bringing their total number to 469. It had previously been only in 11 federal states, now expanding to 14 federal states. So the spread of the virus in Germany accelerating. Portugal reporting an additional 28 cases over the past few days since our last update, bringing the total number of cases there to 304. Again, most of the cases continue to be in Lisbon and the Tahoe Valley, and there are also cases in the North and Algarve regions. France reporting an additional 94 cases of the virus over the past few days, bringing their total number to 277. 195 of them, the vast majority of them, continue to be in Ile-de-France or the Greater Paris area. But we can see that the virus is continuing to be found in other parts of the country, Grand Est, Brittany, Franche-Comté, etc. So the virus spread is accelerating in France, but most of the cases, again, continue to be in the Greater Paris area. Canada reporting additional 42 cases of the virus, bringing their total number of cases to 210. Since we last had an update, Quebec reported an additional 30 cases, bringing their total number to 171 cases of the virus. And Ontario reported an additional 12 cases, bringing their total number to 33. So all the new cases in Quebec or Ontario. And that is the update from Canada. The United States having a very piecemeal update in terms of how it is tallying up new cases of the virus. Wikipedia showing 142 total confirmed cases. The CDC's global map showing 141, but the CDC's national map and case count only showing 113 cases. I'm not entirely sure why the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has not updated its national dashboard. It's, quite a significant lapse on their part. It shows here that the page was last reviewed June 21st, 2022. So I'm not sure entirely what they're doing. They're definitely being notified of new cases because they're being reported in the news. So we will have to wait for a more comprehensive breakdown from the United States Centers for Disease Control. In the meantime, we know that from this global map, they're reporting 141. We'll take that to be 142. That's an addition of 29 new cases since the last update, bringing the total number of cases, as mentioned previously, in the US to 142. And we can start looking at some of those new cases as well, based on what's been made publicly available. Indiana, over the weekend, reporting their first case of the virus. They didn't specify exactly where in the state it was, for privacy reasons. And anyways, that was the information that was released from the Indiana State Department of Health. Nonetheless, that was their first case. And then just more recently, in the past couple of hours, Indiana reporting their second case of the virus, this time in the northern city of Gary. It's not entirely clear whether or not this is the first case in Gary. I'm assuming it is the first case because the mayor of the city decided to have some sort of announcement about this, saying that considering the city's proximity to Chicago, it wasn't particularly a surprise. But nonetheless, that's the second case now of the virus in Indiana, the spread in the greater Chicago area really becoming quite significant. Missouri reported their first case of the virus. That was in Kansas City, and that was also announced over the weekend on Saturday by the Missouri Department of Health. Not a lot of specifics other than that the patient had recently traveled out of state. This is similar to what we saw, I believe, with the Oregon case, where there's essentially the implication that there was some community spread elsewhere in the country. They don't exactly say where this person has traveled in the United States, but again, the suggestion that there is community spread of the virus in the country and that all these chains of transmission are still being worked on to better understand how the virus is spreading in the country. New Jersey also reporting their first confirmed case or probable case of the virus, and the city of Jersey City confirming via Twitter that the first case was in Jersey City, so potentially related to what is an already existing outbreak in New York City. Jersey City, literally just opposite Manhattan, over the Hudson River, and that being confirmed on June 18th by the New Jersey Department of Health. So that is the first case in the state of New Jersey. Additionally, we had more updates from the state of Florida. We had previously reported that Orlando had reported its first case, that being in Orange County home to Orlando. Orlando now reporting their second case of the virus, so not entirely sure whether that is related to the first Central Florida case here, as mentioned, reported by Orange County, but also Seminole County, which is in the northeastern suburbs of Orlando. They're reporting their first case of the virus, so that suggests potentially that this is an active outbreak, some sort of chain of transmission in Central Florida that they have been working on. Details not entirely clear, but nonetheless the virus establishing itself in Central Florida. And then as well, San Diego reporting their third probable case of the virus, at least according to the United States Centers for Disease Control and the San Diego County's Health and Human Services Agency. And that brings the total number of probable cases in the San Diego area to 3, and more, of course, in the rest of the state of California. King County, Seattle, Washington also reporting their second probable case of the virus, and that was a couple of days ago as well, and that was in a man that had a history of international travel. Nonetheless, cumulatively, at least for now, I think this is probably an undercount. Another 29 new cases of the virus in the US for a total of 142. I'm really not thrilled with the way the CDC has been keeping a tally of all those infections, but hopefully they'll sort that out in the coming days, and we'll just have to see what happens with them. Switzerland, since our last update, reporting additional 10 cases of the virus, bringing their total number to 41. I don't think that there have been any significant updates to this website in terms of geographic breakdown of the cases, but nonetheless 41 total in Switzerland since May 21st, 2022. We have some more cases in Denmark. Hold off on Israel for a second. Denmark reporting 4 new cases, bringing their total number to 12. Not a lot of information about that. Anyway, Israel reporting additional 5 cases since our last update, bringing their total number of cases to 11. So that's now 11 cases in Israel, another interesting thing, Israel reporting their first instance of community spread of the virus. They didn't release too many details about this confirmed instance of community spread in the country, only saying that it was in central Israel, not entirely clear where exactly that was. As we can note here, the statement did not give any further details, but nonetheless, the first instance of community spread in Israel, someone with a history of international travel coming into the country and infecting someone in the process. Israel now with 11 cases of the virus. Mexico reporting an additional 4 cases, bringing their total number to 9. And we can note here at the top, 4 of the cases are in Mexico City and 5 are in Jalisco. Again, Mexico now having a total of 9 cases. Brazil reporting 1 new case since we last had an update, bringing their total number of cases to 9. This was reported in the city of Maricá in the state of Rio de Janeiro. And a 25-year-old male, again, he has no history of traveling abroad, but reports contact with foreigners, so that's suggesting some community transmission of the virus in the state of Rio de Janeiro, and potentially that there are some foreigners that were traveling in the country that were carrying the virus without knowing that they had it. Brazil now with 8 cases of the virus. Romania reporting additional 2 cases, bringing their total number to 5. And in terms of details about this new case, or at least the most 2 recent cases, not a lot of information from Romania. The translation not working very well here from the Ministry of Health. But nonetheless, Romania at 5 confirmed cases of the virus. Chile reporting in rapid succession its 2nd and 3rd cases. So regarding the 2nd case, it was an adult from the Araucanía region with a history of international travel to Europe, and they tested positive for the virus. Their 3rd case coming in close contact with the first confirmed case, an adult in the metropolitan region, i.e. the capital, Santiago. And that bringing the total number of confirmed cases in Chile to 3. So 2 new reported cases over the past few days. Then additionally, we had some countries reporting their first case, Lebanon, one of them announcing their first case. According to their state news agency, the patient had a history of international travel and is now in isolation, according to that state news agency. Lebanon reporting their first case. Singapore also reporting their first confirmed case, an imported case, in a flight attendant that developed a fever and rashes. The patient is a British national and is a man and was in Singapore for several days before testing positive for the virus on June 20th. And they are conducting contact tracing, the Ministry of Health there in Singapore. South Korea also reporting their first 2 suspected cases of the virus, according to Yonhap news agency. One of those individuals being admitted to Incheon Medical Center west of Seoul late on Tuesday evening. It's not clear entirely where that person could potentially have gotten the virus, but nonetheless, South Korea reporting their first 2 suspected cases of the virus, and after Singapore, that would probably be the first confirmed cases, if they are confirmed, in East Asia. Nonetheless, we're having a lot of new cases, hundreds of new cases a day at this point. On Thursday, June 23rd, the World Health Organization will convene to have that important meeting about whether or not to declare this a public health emergency of international concern. I definitely think that with the numbers that we're seeing, the transmission continuing to accelerate, I think that that is a warranted declaration. And I think that the appropriate resources that come with that sort of declaration and the necessary cause for some concern that comes with it, I think that that is really what is necessary in this current moment. Now, 3,397 confirmed cases worldwide of this virus, 58 suspected cases, for a total number of confirmed and suspected cases of 3,455. It's no doubt that this number here is an undercount of the total number of cases that have been that exist. So we will need to continue to monitor this over the coming days and see how this situation continues to develop. Does it get better? Does it get worse? And what are the responses by different countries as the World Health Organization considers whether or not it wants to make that declaration? And if it does make that declaration, how do countries respond? We saw the UK now beginning to introduce vaccines for people that are not close contacts seemingly sort of implying that they expect this to just establish itself in the community, and so trying to uh, vaccinate people and block transmission sort of haphazardly without any sort of specific targeting. And we'll see if other countries continue to do that as well, or whether or not the groups that they want to vaccinate, they expand that. We'll have to see as we continue to go. Anyways, that is the update on Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. Thank you, and I'll continue to monitor this in the coming days.